Right, welcome back there to Digger Detecting, guys. It's just gone past 6:40 now, and we've been going for about 40 minutes. We switched that detector on the GPX 6000 by MINELAB at 6 a.m. this morning. Actually had to bust out the head torch, and as you can see, we're working the side of this slope, the side of the bank of the gully today, and we're looking for the gold once again. Now, a couple of targets in, a couple of bits of rust, 2 bits of lead, and well, bingo. 40 minutes later, we've got our first bit of gold. It's only a tiny wee bit of gold, but look, it's still gold nonetheless. And as I said in the last video, the gold prices are skyrocketing at the moment. They actually dropped down there the other week, dropped down by about $1,000, but we're slowly seeing them steadily climb back up again. So 40 minutes in, first piece of gold. As I said, today's mission is to work this whole side of the gully bank and continue on up the hill and see what we can find. So first target, first gold target I should say. Let's see if we can get some more. Well, we moved up the hill there a little bit. There was our last target underfoot, and we just dug another one out, just a light scraping, and got out a bit of rusty steel. A little bit rusty steel, about that big. A lot of mining rubbish going on around here. And just in front of this rock here, just moving up the hill, we've got a much softer sounding target. Now, the last bit of steel that we just dug, just below, was very, very sharp, very screaming out target. And the soft targets is ideally, when you're chasing gold, is really what you're looking for. And as soon as we take this top scraping off, he's probably buried under that rock right there. We might actually, yeah, there we go. See if we can move him out of the way. As soon as we take this top off though, just scrape back lightly, we're going to hear him sharpen up a lot more. And not so much sharpen up, but be a little bit more responsive. Just like that. And ideally it's in line with the last piece of gold. Whoop, straight up the hill. So hopefully it's another piece. Let's get him out. Alright, we're down to the last little clump. We might do this one together. Hopefully he's stuck in this clump here of dirt. Hopefully we see another bit of gold. I got up nice and early this morning to be out here at 6 a.m. too. Like nice and early. I was up at 4:30. It obviously takes time to get up here. Oh no! And we got lead. Very similar sound to gold. But look, you got to get out early. You know, the early bird gets the worm or the gold, as I like to say. And we've got our first piece in the bag. We've got a couple of bits of rubbish too. The ratio's a little bit off, but that's okay. As I always say, you got to dig through the trash to get the treasure, and we're in a really heavy trashy area spot at the moment, but that's also a good thing too. Don't give up on those trashy areas, because where there is trash, well, it means that someone else has not detected it properly. Someone hasn't bothered to dig out all the trash and see what's hiding beneath. So we'll continue on around here, and then we're off to the right hand side, continue working up the gully. Well, this next target, it's a hard one, but it sounds juicy. I'm going to give you a bit of a listen, bit of a look. And I will say too, working on the slopes of these hills, like you can see the dry creek down below me. Working on the slopes of the hills though, it's extremely hard because you're always off kilter, off balance, and you've got to watch that you don't end up down in the dry creek. But some of the best places that I've found to work, because you go to the flat easy ground, you know, the common ground, it's been well worked, well and truly worked. So to get down here, yes, there's a lot of rubbish, but there's also a lot of targets, and with it be gold. So this one here, you just got to watch the detector doesn't slip down the hill as well. This one here we're going to continue to dig out, and one thing I will say too, another hard thing about working the sides of these creek banks is not the fact that you fall down, it's the fact that your target can fall down. So what I generally like to do is I like to position my foot down below on a bit of an angle there, and anything that rolls down, you can see it sort of catches down on my foot. So if I happen to lose the target out of the hole here and scrape it out, well, hopefully it doesn't continue rolling past my foot, hopefully it gets caught on my foot, and I can basically shift my foot just gently and detect that pile of dirt there as well. Let's just give him another listen. I don't think I've pulled him out just yet. It's funny, you know, 7 o'clock in the morning. It's not even a warm day today. He's still in there. But those march flies are out in force. I've been shooing them away all morning, and they continue to get thicker and thicker. So let's continue down on this one. 2 hands. We'll come back and hopefully a second bit of gold. Well, our plan worked perfectly, it did. We caught him on the foot there. It just sort of rolled down the hill and stopped about halfway down. But, well, the plan was to get gold as well. That's not gold, that's lead. Once again, sounding very similar to gold. But that's okay. Into the pouch, in with the rest. And we keep that positive attitude and we move on forward and simply just scrape all your dirt back up the hill. I know it's down the hill now. Make sure you fill those holes in. And I will say too, this is not exactly the prime area where I was hunting there the other week. I've sort of started off a little bit back from where I was finding some really nice pieces of gold, in fact. But what I want to do is sort of be thorough today and work up to the nice patch area. And I did cover the patch area there the other day pretty well. I'm certain I've left more targets there. But just working back from it, and then this morning I'll work my way towards it and then past it and see what else we can get. Let's keep going. Stay. Rightio. Well, here we are back on the little patch area that I hit on last week, and just trying to clean it up, just making sure that I did not miss any signals. We've went through a ton of rubbish in the last hour, well, nearly hour and a half. It's 8 o'clock. So, look, an hour and 20 minutes since our last piece of gold. Everything in between has just been rubbish, and that's okay. End of the day, persistence will win out. And persistence, patience and perseverance will help you find the gold and help you get through all those rubbish targets. Because I've got a ton in the pouch. The ratio is certainly off today, and that's okay. You have those days, and gold's really a funny thing, you know. When you got a plan like I did this morning, and you try and stick to the plan and you work that plan, sometimes it just doesn't pan out. When you don't have a plan and walk into the bush just randomly, that's when you have some of your best success and your most successful days on the gold. But we're going to continue sticking to the plan. I'm not going to deviate or change. I'm going to continue working up this gully, and we've went a fair way along. You haven't seen, but we probably went about 200 metres up this gully so far this morning. And as I said, a ton of rubbish coming out. But this one here, he's in the right material. It sounds good. It looks good so far. It's not lead. And look, we're just up from where I hit some really nice nuggets there just last week. And they're off camera. Unfortunately, I was not filming. And let's just hope this is another one. I said, we'll dig him out, and patience and persistence and perseverance has led us onto this next target. And fingers crossed, it's gold. And it's not. Bugger. I was really hoping that was going to be gold, because just down the hill there, as I said, I got some really nice nuggets, and we're just up the hill. So not to be though, another bit of lead. And once again, you know, when you hit out or miss out on what you think is going to be gold sometimes, and you just continue digging that rubbish, if I was to pack up now, turn the machine off, jump in the car and go home, well, that's all I'd have is one bit of gold and a ton of rubbish. You continue on, you persist on, and you're likely to find that next piece of gold. And that's exactly what I'm going to do there this morning. I've got no intention of giving up. Not that easy anyway. We're going to continue on and we're going to snag it. Let's go. Rightio, well, 2 steps forward from that last target, and we've got another one. And this one was a bit of a funny one. He was right on the side of that bank. So we just sort of chopped away the bank. He sort of took a bit of a scraping off below the coil there, but then realised, dipping the coil into the bank, excuse me, the target was actually up hiding in here. So just taking that scraping off. Sounds good. Sounds a bit sharp though. Could be another bit of lead. Let's go down to him. Once again, that perseverance and patience. It may just be digging lead, but at the moment we're still finding the targets though. There's another bit of lead. We are absolutely leading ourselves onto the lead today. Led astray we are. As I said, gold prospecting is not easy, and you have those days where excuse me, where the plans work and work well, and then other times no plan in the bag and you just wing it and it works even better, but you never can pick it. It's a hard one. And I do feel that you know, some shows out there, I'm not naming any, but some shows out there, or you know, some demonstrations on prospecting makes it look rather easy. Very easy. And I think that is a false misrepresentation of the gold prospecting game, because some days are easier than others, but there's no real easy days out chasing gold. And a lot of people agree with what I'm saying there. Some people may not. But then again, if you spend enough time out here in the gold fields and you're hunting the gold specifically, well, you quickly understand and come to understand it's not an easy game. Anybody who thinks they're going to just go out and buy a detector, pick up a detector, start detecting and find gold, well, it may just not happen that way. Not like what you see on TV or on some prospecting shows, as I said. So continue on working this steep bank. Just around the corner there, it gets even steeper, and it's like a sheer cliff, so we may not be able to work that. But we'll jump over onto the next bank and sort of monkey our way down and try and find the next target. Righto, I think we've done it. Positive attitude, positive mindset. Bingo, brings us down to this little stone here. I can't actually visibly see the gold. Can you? I can certainly hear it though. Let's have a listen. Almost blanking the machine out. It sounds really good. If I could crack it open. Oh, there it goes. It's always important too when you crack these open, take both pieces, because even though you may not visibly see gold right now, and cracking them in half, I can't hear anymore. Not to say there's not more in there though. Not to say there's not a bit more tiny gold hiding in there once you get him home and pan him off. Let's have another listen though. I'll take him off speaker there, off Bluetooth, and we'll... So he's a bit quieter on that side, that flat side. But he's definitely loud on this one. I'm probably not going to crack that up right now, you know, because for the sake of losing any gold out in the bush here, and it's a lot harder to find out here than it is at home. That's my watch. But for the sake of losing gold, I'm going to leave him the way he sits. In actual fact, I think I can see that. Zoom in there. Zoom in even more. He might just be hanging off the side there. Get my big finger out of the way. It's really hard to see. But he might just be hanging off the side there. It's definitely not rubbish anyway. I said, patience, persistence, perseverance. We've just got another target out there in front of us. We're working these steep banks. We're moving a few sticks and branches. We've got a little tributary gully there to go up. We'll go up that and jump over, go onto that next bank and continue on. But once again, positive mindset, patience, perseverance, persistence. It all pays off. Let's get this one in the scoop, in the bottle I should say, and let's move you on to the next. Awesome. Second bit of gold. Alright, bingo. Number 3. We've just got him. Out of the hole there, and he come from up in that little scraping up in front of the coil there. Quite a tight little pocket, and only probably about 5 minutes past the last one that we just got in the stone. He's quite a nice little nugget, I will say. Let's flip him over without dropping him. Oh, be careful. And have a look at the back side. I think I flipped him over. There he is though. Awesome little piece of gold. Number 3, as I said. And the first bit come out there this morning around about 6:40, and I started at 6 o'clock, so about 40 minutes for the first piece. We then just got our second piece at about, 25 past 8, and it's now 8:34. So 5-10 minutes thereabouts. And look, it's worth it. As I said, patience, persistence, it pays off. I will say too, I've been thinking every clip I must explain it, and I haven't, but I will just explain about the coil lead here. Someone asked in my last video, why do you wrap it around the shaft tight and then leave this little bunny ear up the top here? And the main reason is you do not want to have that coil lead wrapped too tight where it's pulling down on the coil and interrupting and causing false signals. You'll be chasing false signals all day. Not only that, it can damage the housing of the coil while the lead tries to rip its way out if you have it bound too tight around the shaft. And not only that, the coil has to be able to manipulate and move around back and forth, especially when working on these steep banks and steep slopes. As you can hear, it's being a little bit funny at the moment. I probably need to do a noise cancel, but look, just running a little bit noisy, the detector at the moment. But that is the main reason. I have explained it before, but the main reason I wrap that coil lead around tight is to create no false signals and no movement in the cord up around the top of the shaft leading into the control box. But then as I get down to the bottom, I put a little tie on it, little Velcro tie that they supply, and then just leave that little bit of movement, that little bit of free cord to manipulate and move around with the coil as needed. So always pay to do that, and if you do have it bound too tight, as I said, you're only going to cause damage to your coil as your coil lead tries to rip its way out of the coil housing. So anyway, that's explained. Now let's get the third bit of gold into the bottle, and as I said, these steep banks are hard going, very, very hard going. The camera really doesn't do it justice just how steep this is. Sometimes you've even got to dig a little bit of a foothold just to stay up on the bank without slipping down. But if you can work them, if you can persist through it, and if you can go through the slipping up and down and look, try and keep your grip on the bank. And as I said, new shoes there the other week, they certainly help. It certainly pays off. So I'll just give you a look at the tread on the bottom of my shoes for anybody that didn't see the video last week. They are incredible. Incredible they are, and it really helps stop me from falling my way down the hill and, well, ending up down there. So anyway, third bit of gold. What are we, 2 hours in? Bit over 2 hours. Let's keep going, see if we can get some more. Rightio, well, next target, that's exciting. Oh, I can see it now. I was just going to say I have not actually spotted it, but when you whittle your way down to practically nothing, all flat little tiny pieces in the scoop, well, you know it's not going to be a bit of lead, don't you? So generally when I do that, I flick the camera on, and I've actually lost him again now. Flick the camera on and try and do a reveal where we can both see it together. I think that's him. Where'd he go? You can hear him now, I'll just give you a listen. I did spot him a second ago. Quite a nice sounding signal. Let's get this second glove off because it's not helping. And this one has come probably about 5 meters up the hill from that last nice piece that we just got. Lovely, there he is. There's nothing better than seeing gold shine in the scoop. I know it's tiny, but it's just such a fascinating mineral. It really is. And yeah, you dig enough lead and rubbish and rust and steel and what have you, and then to see gold pop out, it's just really, like, it never gets old. It's really quite exciting. So number 4 bit, and remember that stone that we got there before, we don't really quite know just what we've got in that stone until we get home and crush him. So that's going to be an interesting one, and it sounds a lot louder. You know, if the gold was as big as in the stone, as big as what's in the scoop there, should sound somewhere similar to that. However, it doesn't. It's screaming off that big stone. So I'm pretty certain it's going to be a lot bigger piece of gold than what's in the scoop right now. Anyway, we might actually just tip him out and give you a look what we've done. And I'm going to move those noisy headphones out of the way. That threshold sound does get a little bit tiring after a while. So this one here, as I was saying, in the stone, and we've kept both stones there just in case there's a little bit more in the other tiny bit. But I'll give you a listen to this one here. Hear how it's blanking that machine right out. Now if we grab our biggest bit of gold that we've got, which was that last piece, and he's not too bad, a little piece there. He almost sounds similar. Let's grab the smaller piece that we just got then, and we'll run him over the coil. You can hear it's not blanking that threshold out quite as much. Let's just give you one more listen to that stone. So I reckon that our biggest bit of gold today is going to come from that stone right there. And we can't see him just yet, unfortunately. But he's hiding in there somewhere, and we'll find him later on this afternoon. So pretty cool. 1, 2, I was going to say, where's my other bit gone? 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the stone. 4 bits of gold, And we are 8:54 on the watch, with Dominic looking funny detecting out for coins and relics that day. And I will say too, where I'm currently living at the moment, there's an empty block right next door to me. And I'm thinking about going over. Well, I'm not just thinking about it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go over and see the next door neighbour and just say, hey mate, would you allow me to do a bit of detecting in your block? Because he's got like an empty paddock behind his house, and the house is, look, it's pretty old, you know, not really sure exactly when it was built, but it's got some age, and out the back has got some old stables. So you know what that means. Where there's stables, there was horses. Where there was horses, there was activity. So we're going to get the Manticore out, or the Equinox 900. We're going to bust that out, and we are going to go do a little bit of coin relic hunting, maybe next Friday for next Friday's video. I'm going to try and keep up my consistency with my videos from now on. Still got a lot going on, a lot on my plate to deal with on a daily basis. The weeks really don't hold. Look, they pass very quickly lately, from Friday to Friday, but we'll continue persisting on. And as I said, next week we might not be on the gold, we might be on the coins and relics, so stay tuned for that one. Alright, well, put the pick in the holster there. I've been working hard, or hardly working. I have been working hard. I just dug down to a target, probably probably a good 6 inches or more. Turns out it was a bit of steel. But with this next target here, I'm a lot more confident that it's going to be gold. Hear how it's sort of got that tail? Now there's really only two things that do that on the detector here, the gold detector. One being little copper buttons, or copper percussion caps from the old rifles, or the next being bigger chunks of gold. Let's have another listen. Here he's got that really funny tail off. So putting back on headphones there, and as I said, that coil's been really funny today. I said this should be a bigger chunk of gold, hopefully. So wait for the headphones to kick in, and it should be somewhere around here. There they go, headphones are in. Got him. Let's see if we can find him. He's going to be in one of these clods of dirt, I reckon. And as I said, generally it's a lot bigger gold than those small little pieces. Bingo, got him. That we've found there this morning so far. Fingers crossed. And he's in the right material too. He's in that nice clay material. So we'll just crush up all that dirt. We're still on the side of the bank. Still a great place to work. Stick with the plan, even though I've dug so much lead today, it's not funny. Can't see him just yet. Another good trick is just to blow into the scoop there, because gold is heavy and it'll generally stay in the scoop, and well, the gold will just sit there and all the dust and dirt will blow away. I don't have any tripod, so just one hand. We'll just work down to him. Get rid of that bit of dust. And this is probably going to do us right here. We're going to finish up at this. Oh, I can see him. I can. We are going to finish up on this target and get out of here. So I won't even pick him up. I'll just zoom in there, and you'll be able to see exactly what I'm seeing. I'll get that pick out of here. Let's have a bit of a look-ski. Can you see that? Right in the middle there. He's not as big as what I was hoping, but he is our biggest piece today. He's got that real tail off sound on the detector. We'll give you another listen in a second. And just awesome. And not very deep, I will say too. Like that was, 2 inches deep, dare say. About that. Not deep at all. And he's not huge, he's not going to break the bank. But that is a nice little piece, probably 0.20. Let's just give you a bit of a listen. I'm actually going to take you off Bluetooth here, off the headphones, so we can have a proper listen once again. Now he's out in the hand, and we'll hear that real tail off sound. I love that sound. Because as I said, there's really only two things that replicate that. Little copper buttons, percussion caps, or bigger gold. So, and that's what we found there the other week. We come across one of those signals, we dug him out, and it sounded just like that. Probably a little bit louder because it was a little bit bigger. So anyway, that is, as I said, going to finish this up for today. I can't remember how many that is in the bottle. I think that's number 5. It is actually starting to spit rain today. You can see it dropping in the scoop there. And remember, it's not always about the gold, it's not always how much you find or about how much you find, it's about getting out there and enjoying and having a bit of fun. And we've certainly done that today. So, as you can see, yeah, that's right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do we have more? 4. 4 and then 1 in the rock. So, as you can see, for today's efforts, we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Visible bits of gold. We've got the little stone there we cracked off, which I'm not certain it's going to have gold in it, but we will double check once home. And we've got the stone, which, as I said, is providing a signal as well. So no doubt it's got gold in it, or maybe a bit of lead stuck in it, which is highly unlikely. So I really hope you enjoyed today, guys. A bit of fun out here in the bush. And we started early, we got the results. We are getting out of here now, and we've probably got maybe about 0.30 of a gram, 0.4 over a gram, so just under half a gram. And today's current gold price was said it did fluctuate and drop back down there a little while ago, but that's pretty common occurrence for gold price. And the instability in the world at the moment, basically the gold is going up and down, but where you see it drop down, generally it just sort of climbs steadily back up, and it'll climb up higher and then do another drop, and then once again repeat that pattern. So if you watch it closely enough, like I do every day, you will see that pattern. And currently today's gold price right now is around about $240 a gram. So if we've got under half a gram in there, which I suspect, we've basically got about $100 there, say. And as I said, like last week, that'll cover our fuel, that'll cover our time, and it also helps helps provide a bit of fun out here in the bush. So we are still going to continue along this bank, and I've marked all my walking trails today through detector maps. And I'll be getting home, I'll be getting home, and I'll be checking on detector maps online, and I'll be looking on the LiDAR and what have you where I've walked today, and I'll be picking up right here when I start again next week. So I really hope you enjoyed once again, guys. Thank you so much for your support to my channel, Dig It Detecting channel, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Cheers.